So how would I proceed?
We were long dead before we met our physical end. I doubt your existence alone could have saved us from destruction. A single stone, like you cannot stop the flow of the river of fate.
Words brimmed with resignation. She had given up. Everyone had given up. Both knew where I was born in our Tokyo Babel. What did Lilith expect from me?
Curiosity, just sheer curiosity. You seemed like fun, so I saved you.
Indeed. In the end, I was the same. I chose this path simply because I thought it was more fun than alternatives. But the situation we were in was no fun at all. Lilith probably gave up something along the way. Something I'd been cardinal to her as a person. She gave up. She gave up on trying to make things more interesting. Favoring the most efficient and, at the same time, the most boring approach. And I didn't like that. I hated the very thought of it.
So, is this world fun for you?
Of course, Lilith. This world's brimming with excitement. Enough fun for us both. The flock of arrows in the sky seemed almost like incoming rain. Camael was already hit by these once, I absentmindedly recalled. I had to make things more interesting somehow. I had to enjoy this more. Curiosity was driving force, with eager knowledge as my paint, my newfound power of violence as the foundation. This is it. This is it, Lilith. I got it. I figured it out. There was but one thing more interesting than this world. You. Your very existence was the most amusing thing that ever graced this world. I no longer dread the incoming storm of arrows. It was far too boring to stare in motion within me. Adam, lend me your power! Crimson stone reveals true shape. The hilt and long blade sprouted from it like some sort of plant. What? My lips unconsciously mouthed the weapon's name. One moment. Cardia. Forged from the hardest stone in the entire universe, the weapon that Adam had entrusted to me, his very heart. I now took him to shape with a sword. Clutching the head with both hands, I swung the blade towards Astaroth downpour of arrows. Flashes of blinding light and rumbling of thunder subjugate the air, shattering to pieces. The white arrows nonetheless continue to tear through space. The inlay couldn't put a single scratch on my blade, neither could the black arrows soil it.
Adam's heart.
Astaroth, I finally discovered my path. You see, I hate darkness.
What do you mean?
I couldn't find the right words. He was waiting for me. He was waiting for me to proclaim my raison d'etre to the heavens. I love fun more than anything else. I love interesting things from the bottom of my heart. I finally understood the meaning of that inexplicable sense of duty I've been feeling all this time. I killed billions, ensuring sins and hatred alike, yet I still love fun more than anything else.
And that is your raison d'etre?
No, it is not. If the world was an exclusively fun place, it would be. However, it's far more often cold and cruel than it's inviting. It's as cold as rain on a winter's night. That was why we yearned for fun, why we yearned for a world warmth. There were always those who would get in our way, those that screamed the world was cold and tough at the top of their lungs, plunging down into despair, trying to pull those around them down with them. It's all unfair. The world, the angels, the demons, All of them. Originally, they also had happiness together. One day, the paths split, placing them at odds with each other. And that is why I shall rebel. I shall rebel against the world and everything in it. My mission is but one: to eradicate those who have siphoned the joy from this world. I shall rebel against injustice and the tyrannies of this world. That is what I was born for. That is my raison d'etre. Astaroth's serene countenance twisted. What appeared on his face was neither anxiety nor fear or even anger, only undiluted jubilance.
I see. So that's how it is. You've become that kind of being, I see. I welcome your challenge, Tendo Setsuna. Come and stop me. Show me what you're made of. Put an end to the anarchy of my affectionate hatred, and face Lilith once again. Rebel against the world, and shatter God to dust. Tendo Setsuna, oh, our long-awaited insurgent, our Satan!
Astaroth underwent a transformation from human to terrifying demon beast. A two-headed azure dragon as his mount, an artificial snake coiling around his right arm. He burst into shrill laughter. His magnificent wings extended, their plumes half crimson with blood, a testament to his fall from grace. His true skin stood exposed, made on the flesh by the scales of serpents. They crowned the Prince of Hell, once the Goddess of Love, the ancient demon lord, once known as Ishtar, now known as Astaroth, towered above before me in all its glory.
Let raw strength be the judge. If you truly wish to save Lilith, you must pierce my chest with that blade of yours.
I took a deep breath. I finally discovered my raison d'etre. I had no time to waste celebrating. Whether or not a reason to live burned in my heart, I still had to somehow break through the onslaught of that giant bow, the flames of the two-headed dragon, and the strange snake on his arm. Yet at the same time, my mind was crystal clear. I would live, and keep on living. Questions of right or wrong no longer mattered. I couldn't forgive the unfair shackles to the world. Justice or evil, nothing had the right to hinder my freedom. So what would I do now? Fool's question. I would fight. I would fight to the last drop of my blood. I dashed through the sky. The azure dragon opened its jaws, exhaling a cloud of poison. More accurate than the strongest of acids, instantly melted all flesh it came into contact with. Even if one escaped direct touch, it still filled the air with rot, violating the lungs of everyone in its proximity. However, Avatar Pride, sweep it away! Picati's sword in my left, Urethral Cardia in my right. A silver line leapt out my left hand. A shockwave followed in its wake, ejecting all damage, pushing the poison cloud out of the way. I rushed onwards and onwards, set on a single goal, not minding any obstacles. The soul targets Astaroth's very obsession. The millennia-old concept was what the heart that contained it. He had chosen innocent love, a murderous hatred. But he couldn't help tormenting those he loved, was unable to settle for just one. I didn't find it ridiculous, only a bit sad. The two-headed dragon's fire breath and poison breath mingled, melting the buildings below the ferocious flames. It seems as if Astaroth had turned the whole of Senjiku to a sight from hell itself. Astaroth continued to launch arrows, as the dragon continued to spit flames and poison, while the artificial snake assaulted me with his murderous fangs. I felt my left hand jolt and grow numb. When the black arrows hit the Picati sword, knocking it out of my grip, I still had the sword in my right. The artificial snake promptly coiled around it. I ignored it. One more push. Another step. Could drill my sword to his chest. However, Astaroth aimed his bow straight at me with a gaze of complete serenity.
Don't you dare ignore me, you fool!
As the terrible howl reverberated across the deep sky, the artificial snake, coiled around my arm, suddenly burst apart, ripped its res by the hellhound. Cerberus!
Climb on my back, fool. If it's a mad dash you desire, and my legs are all what you need.
With Without waiting for an answer, Cerberus tossed me onto his back. Rather than flying, dashed straight through the skies with his 4 legs.
And another thing. Catch.
His other head tossed me a blade from his jaws. Apparently he picked up the Kati sword that I dropped earlier. Cerberus concentrated all its magic to his legs, bolstering his speed to his limit, all the while ignoring any means of defense. A single hit from Astaroth probably evaporated a Hellhound in an instant, without reason. Putting everything to speed and evasion made more sense than half-hearted defense. He pierced through the sky like a shooting star, my chest aching with joy of each attack we dodged. At least of still being alive and being able to push forward. This is incredible!
Why you out of your mind? If we get hit by a single one of those arrows, we're dead. The same goes for touching his poison cloud and fire breath. Death haunts us at every step. That demon is the very incarnation of the Grim Reaper.
And that makes it all the more fun. I shall overthrow him and shatter his injustice and trample upon it with my feet. I'm merely fun to call my raison d'etre. My breast brim with berserk lust. I shall mold down my foe with it. From the bottom of my lungs, I shall sing the ode of life. Right! I gave Cerberus' side a light kick. The Hellhound instantly obeyed my command. I was close. I reached out towards the still far away heart. The blade shall rend it asunder in mere moments. Such strength. Astaroth had no choice but to acknowledge his opponent, Frank.
Astaroth had no choice but to acknowledge his opponent. He was a great hero, a champion to mankind, and a mortal man. Astaroth was a demon lord and a devil, a foe to him. But there were limits to what mortals could do. The young man was inferior to Astaroth in every aspect. Still, Astaroth could hardly gloat at this point. His foe was a true hero, and the natural order of the world dictated that such champions would always prevail over demon lords threatening the realm. A smile, not on Astaroth's, but on the young man's face. Did it signify the elation he felt due to discovering his raison d'etre? He who faced all of his foes and injustices with no hesitation. Yaldabaoth, the false god. It appeared Astaroth had caused the awakening of the last person he wanted to face in battle. Still, the fight was far from over. To defeat the Demon Lord, the young man had to rend his heart with his blade, a feat that Astaroth wasn't planning to allow him just yet.
This is the end!
Endu Setsuna, closing the distance between Astaroth and himself, swung the blade of Ethereocardia in his left hand, certain of his victory. But Astaroth refused to acknowledge the end. The moment the Crimson Blade touched his chest, Astaroth concentrated the entirety of his magic to summon a shield. The blade clashed against it, quivering so fiercely it slipped from Setsuna's grip. Astaroth smashed the murderous sword, shattering it to pieces. For a moment, his heart grew relieved with triumph and puzzled by anxiety. Could he really have shattered it so easily? He glanced at the pieces descending down to the ground. The color of the blade was black, not crimson. Could it be? Setsuna now clutched the sword he carried in his right with both hands. The Mirror Knight hidden behind his back warped and vanished. He tricked Astaroth, the Master of God. Ethereocardia, fashioned out of the Red Dragon's heart and hardened by Adam's many journeys, mankind's ultimate weapon glittered in the young man's hands. And Endu Setsuna collecting all of his power, unleashed its final seal.
I consider the reason why he would entrusted his heart to me. I didn't think he wanted me to fight and defeat my foes with him. He chose Eve, abandoning their futile battle. He showed not a hint of regret in that choice. However, he decided to continue fighting remained hidden in his heart. An emotion that connected hatred, duty, and elation. I considered Adam in my mind. It rubbed me the wrong way. That vexatious bastard I wanted to hit in the face in the very first moment I meet him. However, nonetheless, despite being a loathsome prick he was, I acknowledged him as one of my true nemesis. So, this one time, I wished for him to help me in battle. Adam, you got my thanks. I realized that the Picati sword lacked the power to slay Astaroth, and I swore my ethereal cardia without hesitation. The victory belonged to Adam. So, I decided to unseal it instead. I shall cleave the entire amalgam with injustice, shackling this world. I look out Cerberus back. The weapon I brandished no longer maintained the shape of a sword. Its crimson light pierced through the sky like a shooting star. The cold glitter of its blade illuminated the world in lunar silver. The craving to rend burned in its steel like primordial flames. The ethereal cardia, the crimson heart. The sapphire cardia, the azure heart, birthed by my very own raison d'etre. I tied my grip on the weapon that embodied both, raging with crimson flames and freezing the air with chilly azure. Adamantine cardia, or adamantine will. Would yield to none, we kneel to no one. Our hearts were made of adamantite, refusing to ever falter. Astaroth's magic shield cracked from the clash of Picati's sword. It was for this very reason I sacrificed the weapon that helped me for so long. A bittersweet sensation of gratitude momentarily filled my heart. Metallic remnants, like stardust, still danced out through the air, and nothing left to say. Time for words was long past. I had that one mission left to accomplish. To bury the giant sword I held, our own hearts, in Astaroth's chest. To help us steal aloft, as Astaroth considered me, now hidden below the sword's shadow. The blade fell. Astaroth smiled. The sword cut through flesh, splitting the demon lord apart. That was all. Astaroth's heart stopped, and the demon lord fell.
To think I would be the one to taste death.
Looked down upon the collapsed demon lord.
However, I regret nothing. I had a proper reason to live, and I had the will to press on. Yet in the end, they proved insufficient. You haven't the time to waste on the defeated Tendo Setsuna. Victory is yours. Go now, towards the future you yearn for.
I'm not going with them. Though, I'll see them off.
Lilith?
That's right.
You would shatter everything that's unjust and unfair solely to meet her again. To rescue her from a fate she herself chose.
Yeah.
Even if that's not her wish.
Astaroth made a mean smile, as if telling me that my quest was futile. His tenacity to still want to break my spirit, even on the verge of death, seemed almost admirable to me at this point. Yeah, I don't care about that. Because I love her. But neither embarrassment nor sadness to revealing that fact. The only emotion that washed over my soul as it molded my feelings into words was relief.
The mirage of love has taken the artificial man captive. Is this a comedic farce, or a tragedy most foul?
I too had wondered that. I still couldn't tell. I hoped to turn it into a comedy, if possible.
Be on your way. I want some time alone.
All right. Farewell, Astaroth. Cerberus and I rose into the sky.
Astaroth, watching the two disappear into the distance, allowed serenity to take over his mind.
Michael.
He called out to the empty sky, and the illusion answered.
What is it, Astaroth? You don't look too good. You're pretty pale to begin with, so when you're sick, it's easy to mistake you for a corpse.
Astaroth made a wry smile and shook his head.
What do you expect from a demon? It's in our nature to look unhealthy.
Well, I guess you have a point there. But, you know, we have plenty of unhealthy-looking angels in our ranks, too.
He let out a jovial cackle. Astaroth could feel the area around his heart grow warm.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michael.
The warmth filled his chest, and before he knew it, he was shedding tears.
What are you apologizing for? You were always true to yourself.
Michael placed his hand on Astaroth's head. He felt oddly corporeal for an illusion, but the demon lord no longer cared to pursue ideas. He was tired of thinking all the time. He took the phenomenon in front of his eyes for what it was and nothing else.
If you would have hated me at least, I could have found salvation.
What do you think you're asking of an angel? I could have never hated you, Astaroth.
Even when he tricked him into drinking the poison of truth and forced the angel to comprehend eternity. Even when he revealed all of his plans to his dying friend. The angel kept smiling.
I feel fulfilled like I never have before. I care not if you are a ghost or a fabrication of my dying mind. I'm going to the other side with naught but satisfaction in my heart.
I see. You going, Astaroth?
His heart had long since stopped, not to mention his whole body had been split apart. He had no choice but to leave this world. The end, in all its inevitability, crept closer and closer.
I am. Farewell. I loved you, Michael.
As Astaroth, he loved him as a friend. As Ishtar, she loved him as a man. Ah, but which was he now? Which of those emotions did he crave for? Or was he fine with either? Unable to find a clear answer in his final thoughts, Astaroth turned to dust, his remains carried off by the wind. Nothing remained in his place. Michael's image vanished, leaving only the remnants of destruction to stand testament to the battle that had been waged on these streets. And those would never be seen by anyone else's eyes. There was no place left for the living in the 7th stratum of Shinjuku.
I saw her reach heaven. I found Jacob's ladder on the roof of the Metropolitan Office, traversed it all the way to the gates of the Divine Realm. But even much of accomplishment by supposedly completing the pilgrimage. After all, I'll use one shortcut after another to find my way here. The gates rumbled open, and a peaceful scenery, a garden, extended before my eyes.
Now that I think about it, this is my first time here. A monumental day indeed. Though the place looks duller than I imagined.
Where do you think the others could be? Cerberus sniffed the air, tossed all 3 of his heads in one direction.
All right, let's get our goodbyes out of the way and go looking for Lilith. I'm itching to finally test my strength against her. Hope it's not fleas.
Cerberus cackled to himself and patted him on the back. Cerberus, you should go with them.
Well, to tell you the truth, I figured it would come down to this. But could you at least tell me the reason why?
I want to face Lilith alone, in a fair fight. I'm not saying you would get in the way, but it's just how things are. There was another reason.
That can't be all. In that case, I could just observe you from a distance. I know what you're thinking, Setsuna. You're planning to die, aren't you?
Shrugged. Shook my head. Don't be ridiculous. Admit there's a possibility I might, but...
You don't want me to get involved. How selfish of you. If you so desired, I would have followed you to the very depths of hell and beyond. At times, your kindness cuts deeper than cruelty.
I'm sorry. It's a few more steps. Cerberus suddenly stopped, rubbed one of his heads against my arm.
I understand. An unfortunate turn of events. But if this is your wish, I will respect it.
Thank you.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
Please look out for Sorami, if you can.
You want me, the watchdog of hell, to look after a human? Well, I suppose it doesn't sound all that bad. Setsuna, there they are.
I raised my head to see a crowd of angels and demons anxiously lingering about in the distance. Someone seemed to spot me as the group suddenly grew restless.
Out of the way, please let me pass! Jeez!
A crowd of angels and demons split apart as a lone girl squeezed through them. She froze in place, staring at me with unbelieving eyes. I considered what was the best course of action in this situation. Should I rush her aside and embrace her, or should I say something to her first? I'm back. Not like this was my home or anything. Still felt like those words fit the situation the best. Might have been a poor choice on my part, though. Tears welled up in Sorami's eyes. Unable to contain them, she proceeded to cry, her weeping intensifying to a series of violent sobs.
Welcome back.
So, she somehow managed to force out a generic greeting. I took a step forward. She proceeded to run. Her hands met. Just right in front of me. At a breath's reach. She wrapped her arms around my back, burying her face in my chest.
I was worried sick. You've no idea how horrible it was.
I'm sorry.
Can you even imagine how difficult it was for you after you left? Well, I guess it was different for you too, wherever you were, but still.
I'm sorry.
Setsuna, if you're here, does that mean Mr. Astaroth is...
I gave her a nod. It was enough for her to understand. She sighed, uttering a brief phrase of relief as a riot of emotions washed over her face.
We're all on our way to the future. How about you?
Go ahead of me. I'll catch up with you later. Sorami produced an indescribable, lonely expression.
I guess I don't need to ask if it's related to Lilith.
Yeah. She's still here. I can't leave her.
So she was alive after all.
Yeah. Lilith that we both knew is still alive. It's just that, well, a few things happened and she kind of turned to her final boss of sorts.
Final boss?
Yes, she was indeed the final foe I probably ever had to face. The girl that remained behind that yearned not for salvation. A most selfish woman, if I've ever seen one. She likely didn't wish for any help in the slightest. She was my enemy through and through. She turned this world upside down, forcing it to the brink of destruction through whispers alone. As she finally attained power, she used it first to nearly murder me, then to make an attempt on Samuel's life. Yet, no, exactly because she was like that, wished earnestly to save her. Cristina.
She turned into a final boss. That's so like her.
Raziel landed next to us. Right? So yeah, I can't just leave her like this.
Setsuna, it's gonna be really hard. Maybe impossible. You two to reach the future after Sorami and the gates are gone. Flow of time halted. You could say that this world and the future exist in different dimensions from each other. Not to mention we're planning to repeat Genesis in the new world.
In other words, they're planning to start the world anew from a blank slate. This present was at its limit, already done for, if not for Lilith. It might have still been possible to reconnect it to the future somehow, but unfortunately she chose to become the biggest enemy to this world, set on destroying all of creation, including Sorami and Raziel. We had lost plenty, we'd likely be unable to reclaim much, but we had a new world, a blank slate, ahead of us. Letting go and starting anew sounded quite tempting, especially when turning the new world into the present was likely the sole option most had to survive. Too bad I couldn't go with them.
Knowing that, you're still going to return to her?
I nodded at Raziel without hesitation. I knew what she was trying to say. I understood her all right, but, well, leaving Lilith was simply not an option for me.
So we'll be separated again? And we've just been reunited and everything.
Sorami pinched my chest, her expression replete with sorrow. I placed my hand on top of her head, ruffling her hair.
I'm not gonna let it slide with just this. Though it did make me happy.
Me, it seems like he already got what he wanted.
Sorami let out a deep sigh. After her shoulders trembled for a second, she raised her face with a beaming smile.
But well, it's just like you to do something like this. Good luck.
Thanks. I pray you all find happiness in the new world. Sorami rubbed her eyes before giving my chest a light punch.
Stop making me cry, you jerk.
After that, I faced Belial and Dantalion.
You gonna stay behind to save Lilith? Well, if that's what you want, then sure. Go ahead.
I don't quite see the logic in your actions, but if you're dead set on following this path, I have no right or reason not to go out of my way to stop you.
Keep going, James.
Go now, Tendo Setsuna. Put an end to everything, and be a witness to the twilight of this world as the final member of the human race.
I nodded. To see everything through to the end, huh?
Belial, I'm staying behind as well. I have no wish to accompany the likes of you into the future.
Belial shrugged, seemingly unaffected by Lucifuge's biting remark.
Astaroth left me his will. With him dead, I now have no choice but to do everything within my power to exact it.
I have no regrets.
The hell are you talking about, Mr. Chancellor of Hell? Your powers would help us tremendously in the New World. Your life still has meaning. You should know that. That's what Astaroth told me. I bet he didn't expect to lose, but given his nature, he probably couldn't help leaving some insurance behind, just in case. I'm not listening to another word. You've got no choice but to follow after us.
Belial patted Lucifuge's slumped shoulders. I figured I could trust Belial to lead everyone from now on. Among angels, only Raziel seemed to be left in a position of authority. Too bad Camael didn't stay with them. I was told he decided he had some business left to take care of in this world, not entirely unlike myself. Raziel gave me a bitter smile, knowing she could do nothing to change that.
Anyway, I'm opening the gates.
I heard the angels and demons take a collected gulp, swallowing a lump in my throat as I looked over the spellbinding display. Sorami clasped her hands as if making a prayer, not to a god or any other being, but to the world itself. To convey her wish and resolve to live in the future.
Hope had sprouted, yet so did despair. Evil reigned, yet so did good. They had called it heaven and hell. Incorporate countless contradictions. Incorporate countless elements. Incorporate countless possibilities. And with all of them in your embrace, rush forward to the times beyond. Time that must flow. Time that must halt. Entrust your essence to the gates. Cast your nature aside. Sacrifice this world for the multitude of futures. Jerusalem.
Countless threads, glittering in radiant light, melted into each other, forming one giant gate, a door leading to the future. All to separate them from the new world now was a single step. But taking that step meant discarding past and present alike. Surely that was all for the greater good, at long last. Anyone had a chance at the future, one filled with hopes and dreams. And so I hoped that they wouldn't grow afraid to take that step.
Phew. Well, let's start from you, Mr. Belial.
You're gonna make me lead the way? Well, whatever. Better make sure to follow me, guys.
Not wasting a single second for sentimental thoughts, Belial ripped the gates open in one wide motion and jumped into the future. 5,000 angels and demons followed him one by one, some with joy in their eyes, some wistful, others with face contorted by anxiety.
So long then. We're leaving after the party cleanup in your hands, Tendo Setsuna. See you around, Tendo Setsuna. A way to tell you farewell might yet remain to be discovered.
With that weird line, the Dantalions too disappeared into the door.
Tendo Setsuna, I loathe to exchange words with you, but could you tell me whether Lord Astaroth smiled in the end?
He did when we parted ways, I think.
I see.
Nodding to himself in satisfaction, he took a step through the door, saying nothing else.
I suppose I should go as well. A short-lived companionship it may have been, yet I take pride in having served as your mount and partner in battle. Farewell, our hero, our champion. I truly hope we'll get the chance to meet again.
Cerberus proceeded to rub all his three heads against me and jumped through the door. Only Raziel, Kangutsu, Sorami still lingered behind. Sorami seemed to be unable to find a place for her hands, fidgeting and looking around all over the place, stealing a few glances at me and looking away again. Eventually, she managed to find the right words.
Well, you know, break a leg, I guess.
Thank you. I'll do my best. Sorami clutched on her hand and suddenly stomped the ground.
I can't take this! I've no idea what to say. Break a leg? I'm certainly not getting a prize for originality with this one.
Calm down, it's alright, Setsuna.
Raziel clasped my left hand in both of hers, bowed her head down before me.
Please, save my friend.
I squeezed her hands back. I'll save her. I swear I will.
Setsuna!
When I let Raziel's hands go, Sorami wrapped her arms around my neck, without giving me a chance to react, pressed her lips against mine.
Oh my.
My thoughts completely froze for a moment. Before I could protest or try getting away, she drew back by herself.
I'll be waiting for you, Setsuna. You hear me? I'm not saying goodbye. I'll be waiting. No matter how long it takes for you to come back.
Okay. Still somewhat dumbfounded, but managing to comprehend the feeling she put into these words, I give her a nod.
I kissed you, remember? It's a promise, a curse, a spell, or whatever. So now we have to meet again, no matter what.
Sorami passed through the doors crying, leaning on Raziel's shoulders. Our eyes met at the very last moment. I tried coming up with something to say, and... Thanks, Sorami. Those words of gratitude in the end. A look of surprise overtook Sorami's face for a moment. Eventually, melting into a gentle smile, with fresh tears welling in her eyes. She gave me one final wave off the hand before closing the gates. Next moment, the path to the future vanished. I alone remained in disconnected present. I thought about her last smile, remembering various episodes from our shared past. Ever since we met, she kept telling me how I had saved her. But it was me, not you, who could have been saved. It was my heart that could finally taste relief through rescuing you. The very fact that you're alive and smiled for me was enough to fill my chest with happiness and pride. In the end, you cried for me. the tears departing. Without you, I would never been able to even understand this emotion. That's why I chose words of gratitude in the end. Kagutsu Sorami, thank fate for allowing me to meet you. Well, I suppose I really am alone now. There's no one left to respond to my voice. I felt a tad lonely, no question about that. When has left the stage, now it's just the two of us, and the empty scenery. I jumped down from the edge of heaven, down towards Coxetus, the river wailing. I faced her again, and absolute zero, the deepest layer of hell.
The swing tore the sky apart, and, blasting the sea away, made it rain salt water.
What's wrong? This can't be all you've got, Uriel.
Stop mocking me, you red bastard!
Camael held his executioner's sword, death, while the bolt of hell, Sybil's prophecy, rested in Uriel's hands.
Split apart and perish!
The bolt exploded to countless nails that, while leaving trails of fire in the sky, shot at Camael with the deadliest of intents. A single hit would mean certain death, but Camael regarded the volatile projectiles with cold eyes and readied his gun. The all-crucifying bullets burst out of the Retribution's shaft. But Uriel predicted, or rather knew, that Camael had no alternative. This was all a repeat of their previous fight. However, hitting the supersonic nails out of the sky required incredible precision. And so, Uriel had to use this chance.
Camael!
The Mad Angel put all of his strength into that lunge. He no longer cared if the magic raging within his flesh scorched him to a crisp as long as he could claim his opponent's head. Instinctively, Camael pointed his revolver at Uriel, but realized he was out of bullets. It seemed as if the follow-up swing of the executioner's sword split Uriel in half. But in truth, all he did was catch the blade with his shoulder, making it lose murderous momentum at his adamantine clavicle and getting it entangled among his ribs. A mad smile warped the face of the angel.
Oh no.
Burn to a crisp!
Using himself as the nucleus inlet out, the most potent of his flames burst out of his body. Camael, known as the ruler of Mars, was relatively resistant to fire, but Uriel's flames were on a whole different level. As the flame of God, they existed to punish, not to burn. Still, Uriel, whose body had nearly been torn asunder by the other's blade, was very close to death. Even if left alone, he would still likely perish from that room. He managed to escape instant death.
Stop getting in my way!
Delusion. Uriel was likely still trapped in his own world of fantasy. Camael considered the empty sky with saddened eyes.
This is it, Uriel. Kagutsu, Sorami, and the others have left for a future disconnected from this world. Only the two of us still remain in this place. I came here just to buy some time for them. And well, I figured that at least someone should keep you company in your demise.
Camael tried smiling, but it soon twisted into a grimace. He glanced at his arm. I had since been burned to a black crisp, and considered if ripping it off would actually ease the pain.
Lies and deceit! Stop lying to me! You and I? Just the two of us in the entire world?
What would I gain from lying at this point? If you refuse to trust my words, you are free to travel to Tokyo Babel and see for yourself. This world has already come to an end.
No.
Despite his madness, he seemed to retain enough sentience to at least comprehend the basic facts.
With that said, well, you are free to kill me if you wish. You may torture me, or eradicate my soul from existence. I care not.
Why are you?
Uriel grew puzzled. Why would Camael be in a place like this despite knowing about the end of the world? Camael shrugged.
I suppose I simply felt like it. I was never fit for leadership, and I'm certain they'll do just fine without me.
Putting the entirety of his mad consciousness to full throttle, Uriel analyzed Camael's words, eventually gasping and understanding the breath.
In that case, I only wish to have another duel with you.
Is that so?
Camael tossed retribution to the sea, and butting down the pain, clutched the hilt of his executioner's sword with both hands.
Prepare yourself, Camael. My flames shall rip apart your bosom and scorch your very heart.
Then I shall answer you with absolute death in return.
Camael made a cold smile. Everything was at its end. Both realized that they could no longer avoid annihilation. Everything was at its end. Both realized that there was no meaning to their battle. Yet, or maybe precisely because of that, the two found an odd sense of significance in clashing their strength one last time, in deciding the stronger death. Was that Uriel's thought, or Camael's? It didn't matter. Both of them agreed. Camael smiled. Uriel smiled. Uriel was slightly taken aback by his own actions. Suddenly, time, that once came to a halt momentarily, sprang alive again. The murderous wills of the two collided. They might have poured all their strength into preventing their bodies and minds from falling apart, yet death was still inching closer and closer to the two with each passing second. Their lives were dissipating, their very souls melting, yet joy ruled over sorrow in their hearts. They felt nothing but elation from their last attacks. And so, everything finally came to an end. The executioner's sword stood buried deep in Uriel's heart. The iron bolt loomed impassive, having crushed Camael's chest. Everything finally came to an end.
So, this is it. What a fool you are.
Camael answered the angel's smile with one of his own.
We're both fools. Just look at yourself. Can't believe people used to call you a master angel.
Piss off. If you had seen what I have, you would have turned just the same.
Maybe you're right.
Camael made a bitter face in front of the surprised Uriel.
Maybe I'm not in a position to talk, but whatever happened must have been really terrible for someone like you to succumb to madness. I understand that much.
A collective sigh. The two were at the very verge of death. They couldn't help making wry smiles, seeing the other's sorry state reflected in their eyes.
I have no words. We're both in terrible shape.
And whose fault is that? You might have killed me, but you paid for it with your own life.
Well, not bad. Not a bad way to go out, all in all. Still, I wish I didn't regain my senses on my deathbed.
Ah, I see. Your sanity has come back.
I wouldn't have had to bear this sorrow had you put me out of my misery.
So you're sad?
Of course I am. I've indiscriminately killed hundreds of angels here in Tokyo Babel, both distinguished and nameless. I simply gave in to my carnal desires and killed everyone that stood in my path. And absorbed in the faith of my own lunacy, I believed I was doing it for their sake as well.
Such malevolence. Uriel bit his lip.
You want forgiveness?
What? I'd still die and dissipate just the same, forgiven or not. There's no longer a point to such a concept.
What if I said I'd forgive you?
Well, that might soothe my consciousness a bit, I guess.
Uriel smiled. Camael gave him a light jab on the shoulder. The end. It was near. Uriel suddenly shivered. Fear. Absolute terror warped his face.
Damn. Things are not looking good. What should I do? God damn it. This is pathetic. I can't believe that I'm still afraid of death at this point.
Prompted by his opponent's sudden lamentation, Camael patted Uriel on the shoulder.
I'm not afraid, though. I'm not afraid of death, nor of disappearing. Not in the slightest.
Tears welled up in Uriel's eyes. He thought to thank the Crimson Angel, but he couldn't find the words. In the end, he decided to just go with his usual malicious remarks.
God damn it. Stop trying to make me cry, you blockhead.
Don't worry about it. All that's left for us here is to wither away. This world has already come to an end. Don't you think it's all too fitting for us to be the ones to see it off?
The bodies of the two began dissipating. Terror that nearly made them cry overtook the two angels, but it soon passed, giving way to an odd sensation of resignation, despair, and serene peacefulness, filling their hearts to the brim.
So, this is the end.
It's not a complete end, though. The ones that survived will continue in the new world.
Uriel was about to give a prayer for luck to guide their way, but changed his mind and simply wished them luck instead, supplicating not to divine will but birthed by his own soul. His thoughts suddenly ceased. He lost the power to process complex information. The end had arrived. With a myriad feelings pouring into it, the angel exhaled his final breath. He could see the fragments of his soul flowing out with it, rising up into the air. Fly, he thought. Fly further and higher beyond.
Uriel?
He tried answering. He tried uttering his name. But he could no longer form words. He could no longer understand anything around him. Ah, how unfortunate, how regretful. The young man before his eyes made a sad smile.
See ya.
He, too, was already turning to dust.
See.
Uriel suddenly felt his heart grow lighter as he uttered those words in his mind. Only the faint, warm light of the twilight remained behind. Nothing else. And so, the world had lost its last two angels.